Alrighty, everybody, we are going to look at a review of skills 15 and 16, aka the geometry stuff. Okay, so let's do some problems. The first one here, we are asked to find the value of x. What we have here is a linear pair. So since this is a linear pair, they add to 180. So we would do 40 plus x minus 90 equals 180. Combining like terms, 40 minus 90 is negative 50, so x minus 50 equals 180. So x in this case, when I add 50 to both sides, will be 230. So x is 230. Okay. For this next one, it says in the figure above, ray OB, so this ray right here, bisects angle COA. And you can see they've already marked those. We're told that if the measure of angle DOB, so DOB is this angle over here, it is 11x plus 6. Actually, it's DOB, so let me erase that. Let me use a different color here to illustrate the angle DOB. So DOB, that whole thing is 11x plus 6. The measure of angle COA, I'm going to use a different color for this. So COA, so this part right here is going to be 8x minus 12. We want to figure out the measure of angle DOC. All right. So DOC, I'll use a third color to illustrate that. Not blue though. Let's see what would stand out from these. Let's do this yellowish color. So we want to find DOC. So this piece right here. Okay. Okay, so first of all, let's note that if we have the green angle, which is 8x minus 12, and we know that that is split evenly among these two angles here, each one of these will be 4x minus 6, because that's going to be half of 8x minus 12, right? You just divide those terms by 2. And angle DOC is going to be 11x plus 6 minus that little piece right here that makes COB, which will be 4x minus 6. Okay? So let's use this to create an expression for angle DOB, and then, DOC, and then we'll use that to help us figure out the actual measure. So we have 11x plus 6 minus 4x plus 6, because I'm distributing that minus sign. And I get 7x plus 12. Excuse me. Okay, so we know that angle DOC is 7x plus 12. So 7x plus 12 is DOC. And if we add that to the 8x minus 12, those should make a straight line 180 degrees. 7x plus 8x is 15x. Plus 12 minus 12, those cancel out. We're going to divide by 15. And we get an x value of, let's see, 15 goes into 18 one time, 3 left over, 12 times, okay? So x is 12. And we want to now use that to find the measure of angle DOC. Angle DOC, remember, was 7x plus 12, so 7 times 12 plus 12. 7 times 12 is 84 plus 12, so we get 96. Okay? Now, there's probably other ways we could have done this problem, and now that I'm looking at it, I see that there might have been other ways. So if you come up with a different way, share with us. On this next one, we're told that M and N are parallel. So remember, this symbol means parallel. If A is 50 and B is 120, find C. All right, so A is 50, so this angle inside here will be 50. If B is 120, then the angle inside here is going to be 180 minus 120, which is 60. And to get C, we have to know that this is a triangle. Triangles add up to 180, so 50 plus 60 makes 110. 180 minus 110 gives us 70 degrees. Okay, so we had to know that a triangle has 180 degrees. Again, there are other ways we could have figured this one out as well. So if you have ideas, share with us. On the next one, line L is parallel to line M. We want to find the value of x. So if this is 55 and these lines are parallel, then this angle up here will be 55 degrees. We're given a right angle here, so now this is a right triangle. 180 minus 90 minus 55. Well, you know what? Let's do this a different way. Let's add the 90 and the 55, which is 145, and then take that from 180. $35. Here we go. We have a triangle. We're told that AB is equal to AD, which is equal to DC. And we want to find the value of x. So, in a triangle, if two sides are congruent, that means their opposite angles are congruent. So looking here, I went ahead and marked all the congruent angles, okay? And so when we look at that, we know one of those congruent angles is 18 degrees. So that means so are all the other congruent angles here. And we want to find the value of x. Well, if we look at the value of x, what we're going to notice is that those 18s, if I take 18 plus 18, I get 36. If I take 180 minus 36, we get 144, which is not one of our answer choices. So we're going to have to go back to the drawing board on this one. Make sure I labeled things properly. Sometimes this happens when you're doing math and you are like, uh-oh. So let's see, let me go back. AB, that's this segment here. AD, that's this segment here. And DC, that's this segment here. Those are all congruent. Okay, I know what I did wrong in the last part, so let's try this again. Alright, so first of all, I do know that this angle will be congruent to this angle. And if this is 18, this one's 18 as well. So let's find the upper angle of this triangle. So 18 and 18 make 36. 180 minus 36, we're going to get 144. So this angle is 144. Now I need to use that to help me find this angle over here. So if I take 180 minus 144, we know that is going to be 36 degrees. So this is 36 degrees, which means that this angle up here is 36. That's where I went wrong. And now we're going to take 36 and 36, add those together, we're going to get 72. 180 minus 72 will give us the angle x, which will be 108 degrees. That's what our answer should have been. Yikes. Okay, sorry about that. All right, let's look at this next one. On this next one, we're told that the measure of angle A is equal to the measure of angle C. They're marked as such. If x is greater than 0, what's the value of x? Okay, so if these angles are congruent, then that means that these sides are congruent. So we'd say x squared equals 2x plus 15. Now, I said this was a connection to Algebra 2, and the reason being is that we're dealing with quadratics, and in Algebra 2 you solved a lot of quadratics. So what we need to do is we need to set equal to 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the x squared positive, so I'm going to subtract 2x to cancel those out, and 15 from both sides. So these are gone, we get equals 0, and we get x squared minus 2x minus 15 equals 0. So what we're doing is we're looking for two numbers that multiply to our a times our c, so negative 15, but add to the b value of negative 2. So thinking about numbers that multiply to negative 15, we know 1 and negative 15, and then there's 3 and negative 5, and it looks like that's the pair of numbers that we want. So 3 and negative 5. So I'll write this as x squared plus 3x minus 5x minus 15, and we're going to factor by grouping. In the first group we have x in common, and in the second group we have negative 5 in common. So x minus 5 will become one of our factors. When we divide each of these groupings by their GCF, x squared divided by x gives me x. 3x divided by x gives me 3. So now we have factored this, and we're finding the zeros. So x minus 5 equals 0 when x equals 5, and x plus 3 equals 0 when x equals negative 3. Since they told us that x had to be greater than 0, we're going to throw the negative 3 out, and x equals 5 is our answer. All right, that's how we do it. All right, last one. In this problem, we are told that AD is congruent to BD, and we've got that marked. So AD is down here, and BD is to the side. So that means angle A will be congruent to the upper angle B. The measure of angle A is 26 degrees. What is the measure of angle DBC? All right, so they want to know this angle here. Well, I know this is 26 based on the fact that these two sides of the same triangle are congruent, so their angles have to be congruent. 26 and 26 makes 52. And so I take that from 180. We get 128. So this angle is 128. So we find this angle by doing 180 minus 128, which we know is going to be 52. And if that's 52, angle C has to be 52 degrees because we see that those segments are congruent. So now 52 and 52 add up to 104. Take 180 minus 104, and that'll get us the angle we were wondering about. 76. All right. So the rest of the class, you are going to work on your study guide for quiz skills 15 and 16 quiz. And that's what we'll be doing next class. So be prepared for that.